Hi, I'm Mark with Express Lane Training. Today I want to talk to you about the numerous advantages of PHP and HTML plain without using WordPress. And there's tons of clients out there. There's going to be dozens of different use cases for both of these. What's really important is to understand in advance that certain thresholds have to be met before you want to consider WordPress. And also certain thresholds where it's obvious that even PHP and HTML and all the advantages they offer simply just aren't going to work in this use case. And I just want to thank you for joining today. Subscribe, like below, and let's get right into it. One of the biggest advantages of the WordPress ecosystem is the numerous functionality that it offers. And there's a gazillion plugins. There's numerous types of functionality for every kind of niche in that functionality. And it is amazing what you can all accomplish with a plugin. That is all in light of the fact that WordPress is a behemoth. And if you're not growing a website into the realm of extreme or just regular good heavy-duty content development, if your site isn't doing the kinds of things that WordPress is going to excel at in different use cases, then there's just no need for it. And I've been building websites since the turn of the century, and I can pretty much say that there have not been that many use cases where WordPress did not fill in all the gaps, but at the same time, I can tell you that there have been numerous times where WordPress was overkill for an install. And if you judge this pretty much early on, what kind of client are you working with? Are you working with a client that is going to be proactive in content development? Is the client, the business, going to be moving into an area where they're going to be producing a lot of content down the road? Or are these just essentially static applications that are more to do with just specific functionality types that can be coded? As an example, image uploader, event calendar, basic things like that, where what really is needed here? Do you need the full overhead and the update and maintainability responsibilities of WordPress, or can you code these uploaders behind a login? It usually takes about 3 minutes, and build from there and have lightning fast technologies. So the thing is, what I talk about, asking your client where they truly want to go. Do they have a very limited scope of functionality that they want in their website? If so, this opens the door for plain HTML/PHP. There are so many things that can be accomplished with minimal scripting. There are certainly plugins available, scripts available on the market for PHP, HTML, JavaScript that instantly fill a slot, minimal customization, boom, you've got a website now, very minimal performance or processing overhead that can tackle just about anything. Now, down the road, when the client says, you know something, I'm going to need more functionality. We're looking at, more content, different types of functionality here and then you can put together whether WordPress is that perfect install opportunity at that point. My point is, for the time that it's going to take to install WordPress, to customize it, to train for it with a client that does perhaps not savvy at all, and in spite of the fact that it's going to take a little bit of a good website server to be able to deliver WordPress quickly to its users, and a savings of money here as well, that plain PHP and vanilla HTML sites really do fill a substantial portion of web developers' bread and butter. There are numerous plugins, obviously, for WordPress that are going to solve those kinds of things. The requests of the client and going through the scope of your project early on, you will know what are your limits? If it's a quick PHP script, awesome, savings of money. And you know what? It's an easy jump into WordPress down the road if their content development needs are really growing, and without that cost. So the client doesn't have the upfront cost. The client does not have the training cost. The client doesn't have to worry about the web server performance cost. Those are real big issues. And unless you're virtually certain that this client is going to require that level of content development upfront, then by all means, I think it ought to be secondary. WordPress should not be the de facto website solution. It should be reserved for times when you are needing that full content development and the numerous plugins that go with it. Otherwise, PHP, vanilla HTML sites, connect them to a database. You got your dynamic functionality, build in, log in, build an uploader for whatever you have, and you solve a ton of problems right there. And you can still, even if that becomes the case, PHP and HTML on a subdomain now are also an opportunity. When we're talking about putting them on subdomain dot main domain, you can achieve the same degree of functionality there without the $1 million install of WordPress, and certainly not have to worry about all of the restrictions that your plugin may have if you were to develop inside of WordPress. Some solutions are pretty basic in the WordPress ecosystem where there are plugins. There's numerous plugins that solve just one specific problem and take care of the nice little envelope around that problem. But when it comes to scripting that yourself in PHP, JavaScript, HTML, you're going to be looking more now at limited functionality that is outside entirely of the WordPress system. And that is something that can work on a subdomain, so you're not hobbling around that process. So those are definitely considerations. I've been doing this, like I said, since the turn of the century. And while WordPress definitely could fit those use cases, you could make it fit. Many times it was unnecessary. It was added update costs, added maintenance costs, added plugin concerns, some late night worries about that. Those things ought to be really considered before jumping entirely into the WordPress ecosystem. Yes, I'm not here to ding on WordPress. I'm just saying that, especially when you got dynamic plugins like Elementor and Divi and motivated clients, that is great. But for the clients that have very limited scope and don't want to overextend themselves in technology or don't even care, they just want that basic function instantly, easily, there is a PHP, JavaScript, HTML solution that can easily fit the bill. Hey, I want to thank you for joining us today. I'm Mark with Express Lane Training. If you like this video, subscribe, like, ring that bell. I look forward to seeing you the next time. Got any questions? I'll try to answer them in the comments. Please come back again. See you next time. Thanks.